Hey, it's Avi. I'm going to show you how I made this open easel fancy fold card measuring at 3.5 by 6 inches with a secret pocket to write a special message. I cut 2 pieces of heavyweight cardstock measuring at 3.5 by 6 inches. I used Bonnie Bloom's stamp set from the Ton to create my own pattern paper. I used Wow embossing pad to ink up my stamp. I used polished silver super fine from Wow embossing powder to cover my stamped image. And then I heat set it. I repeated the same process over again so I could have 2 panels. I cut another piece of cardstock measuring at 3.5 by 6 inches, and I added one of my decorative backgrounds to it. I adhered them together using highlighter tape. It's just a temporary tape just to hold it in place. And I die cut 2 hearts from the Hero Arts Nesting Hearts die set. One is about 2 sizes smaller than the other, but this way I will cut through both of those cardstocks at the same time, and you'll see why here in just a moment. I sent it through the die cutting machine, and this is how I created the window to my open easel card. I saved all the hearts and placed them to the side because they will be coming back in the near future. I separated the 2 panels. I'm going to set one to the side for now, but it will be coming back in the very near future. I cut a very tiny piece of acetate, probably measuring at 3/4 of an inch, and lined it up in the middle of the open heart window. I used double-sided adhesive tape, and I applied some to the top and to the bottom. I released the backing from the double-sided adhesive tape, and I applied liquid adhesive to the back of the panel. I then added the additional panel, and I sandwiched the acetate between those 2 panels. I hope that makes sense. I added a glue dot to the center of the acetate, and then I took the smallest heart and I added it to the center of the heart window. I repeated the same process for the other side to give it a cleaner look. The secret sentiment pocket measures at 3.25 by 5.5 inches, and I scored it at 1/4 of an inch on the top, the bottom, and the left side. The score lines make a square at the top and the bottom, and I just cut those squares out following the score lines. I folded those score lines down, and then I cut on the corners where I cut out the squares. I just cut those at an angle so that way it wouldn't have so much bulk whenever I adhere my pocket together. I used liquid adhesive on the inside of those folds, and I folded them down. I then applied liquid adhesive to just the top of those folds and added the additional panel that I made earlier to make a pocket. I used a smaller heart from the same nesting die set to make a partial die cut for an opening to the pocket. I cut down a piece of cardstock measuring at 2.5 inches by 5 inches to fit inside the pocket. And I added a silver heat embossed heart on the front and on the back, just so that way you could grab hold of it. I don't know that it's necessary, but you know how extra I can be sometimes. And now that I have all of that out of the way, I'm going to show you how to make the fancy fold card. My card base measures at 6 by 7 inches. I scored it in half at 3.5 inches. I die cut a window using Waffle Flower mini slimline dies. I used the one measuring at 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. I scored the window in half at 1 3/4. I folded that score line back. I added liquid adhesive to the bottom, side, and top only, and added my floating heart card front. I added my card pocket to the back panel, and I added the other heart that I had left over. I matched it up with the stamp to give it a little bit of an eclipse effect. And that is how this card came together. This is what I call crafting cardio. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.